the traits and qualities of a good woman versus a wife, and are they different?
I think some of the qualities kind of may overlap. I think if you are a good person, um, you will develop into a a good wife. But I think that also depends on the type of husband you have as well. Because I think the role of one of the roles of a husband is to see the areas in which you may be weak in and challenge you in those areas to help develop you to become better. As individual, you are limited in I guess seeing yourself in areas of weakness because you're limited in the way that you view yourself. So you can see yourself as, being a good woman or a good wife until you're challenged in your views. So I think, yeah, those areas are that there's always room for growth. So I think a good woman can develop into being a better woman.
I'm gonna
That
go to
makes
you,
sense.
Mark. Thank you, Miss Taken. Go to you, Mark.
Mhm.
The traits and qualities of a good woman versus a wife, and are they different? Marble.
Oh man, I was still trying to reflect on it. I think I think a wife should be a good woman. I don't see the disconnection with it. It's kind of I don't see where there should be a polar opposite in it. I mean just thinking about it. But I might want to sit back on this to kind of see everybody else input because I don't see a disconnection between the two because I feel like a wife should be a good woman. So I kind of want to hear the rest of the panel before I kind of chime in.
Can I just add one thing, JR? I think a good woman, good wife, I think are like what he said. It should be synonymous in the fact that I think both have to deal with character, and I don't think that would change between the two. If you have good character, that character is shouldn't change between what title you have, right? So if you're a good person, that's going to carry over into being a good wife because that character isn't going to change, right? Because that's the foundation of who you are. Now that I had more time to process.
Okay. What about you, Miss Angie?
I believe that a good woman and a wife are synonymous with one another. Just piggybacking off what both of my panel mates, I'm sorry, Marbo and Miss Taken said, it has to do with character. So I feel like a good woman is the only difference between a good woman and a wife is the title, honestly.
What about you, Cloud Jones?
Um, I say a good woman. All right, let me start it over. A wife, anybody can be a wife as long as somebody marries them. So to be a wife doesn't require you to be a good woman. I've seen plenty of shitty wives out there. There's a lot of them. So wife is a title that you can achieve simply by someone saying, "I want you to be my wife." And if that person has bad judgment, then they could pick a shitty wife. Whereas a good woman is a good woman, I think is like universally understood by everyone as a good woman, whether she's married or not. So a good woman, you might see wifely qualities in her, or many people might want to make that her wife because she's a good woman. But a good woman doesn't have to be married. She doesn't have to be in a relationship to be able to display the qualities of a good woman, which I would say is like being kind, being a good listener, being compassionate, empathetic, considerate, um, respectful, um, truthful, caring, all of those things. I think all of those combine to make what a good woman is. But that's not necessarily found in every wife.
Okay. And you wanted to say something?
I do. I did want to kind of add a point. I think that like I said, a good woman, the only difference between her being a wife is the title, right? I do think that good women that are single, there is normally a negative connotation that comes with that. It's always, why are you single? Something must be wrong. I feel like that is normally the first response. Do you guys agree?
More than likely, something is wrong with you if you're still single. Depends on how long you've been single.
All right, we're gonna build up to it, y'all. We're gonna build up to it.
Let's stay on top. Let's stay on top.
Yeah. So we're
They
talking
can't
about
follow directions.
we're talking about the traits and qualities of a good woman versus a wife, and are they different? Go ahead, Allie.
I don't think that they are synonymous. And the first guttural thing that comes to my mind is my mother and I have talked about this at length, right? And my sister's gonna hate me, but my sister's a prime example. She is a very good person. She is a solid individual. But my mom, I can hear her right now. She says, Cindy would not make a good wife. She's not a good housekeeper. Like, and not to say that she's, like I said, a terrible person, but she just doesn't have the qualities to be a wife in the sense of she's kind of like selfish in the way that she moves, but she's not a bad person. So my mom says that all the time. She says, you know, Alice, I can see you being a wife, but I can't see your sister being a wife. But she is still a solid, good individual person. So I don't think that they're synonymous. And I feel like I know a lot of people like my sister. So I'm not knocking her, but I don't think they're synonymous. You can be a good person, but not have wife qualities, just in the way that you move.
All right, go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I really like how the brother Clout Jones broke it down. I thought it was really good. I mean, for me, I don't think they're necessarily the same. I think one thing that we didn't talk about or highlight is how people are raised and cultured, right? I think that's a big component of it because I think that there are great, amazing people out there from all walks around the world, great women, but I think that the cultural mindset and how they are raised to think in terms of themselves and how they see themselves with someone, whether in a relationship, marriage, etc. It changes and skews. So I would say a good woman, you know, characters and virtues, you know, relationship, you know, and sort of maybe perhaps the broad impact. I think one embodies the qualities of kindness, integrity, and self-respect, and others, and then also, you know, maintains a healthy connection with, you know, the people that they are in community with. The second thing that I would say a good wife will probably embodied is sort of the priorities and the needs in the marriage, the family. You know, there isn't that selfishness of it's only about me and me. You know, there's a greater role to be played in. So I would say probably in summary, while a good woman excels in as an individual virtue, I would I would add that a good wife channels those qualities in the framework of marriage, fostering and nurturing in a supporting setting for her partner and her family.